Howdy, howdy, howdy. My name is Anacha Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. In the last episode, we read about, let's see here, Universal Dumping Grounds, Mouth Soap, Involuntary Shapeshifting, the Phantom App, and Numerology Ghosts Apartment. The only ones I really remember is Mouth Soap and the Numerology Ghosts, which is why I knew where I was. So, next up is going to be the Fortune Cookie Neighbor, 5,000 Dots, the Hitchhiker, Child of Trees, and Justified Bad. Just five, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. Fortune Cookie Neighbor. Okay. SCP-1335, it's safe, and is to be contained in a standard safe class containment unit at site somewhere. The containment unit is to be fitted with a drainage system, and the collected liquid is to be disposed as Level 1 anomalous waste. As of December the something at some point in time, SCP-1335 is to be monitored for noise emissions. Following any such emission, it is to be monitored for the manifestation of additional messages. Description: SCP-1335 is a fortune cookie, identical in appearance to a standard fortune cookie manufactured by Wonton Foods Inc. It displays the anomalous effect of releasing approximately 100 milliliters of liquid every hour. That's not what fortune cookies do. That's not even almost what fortune cookies do. The liquid released from 1335 is comprised primarily of water, but contains traces of lead and calcium as well as an unidentified organic compound. I want to say almond water? It was contained on January the something somewhere at a restaurant. Upon arrival, Foundation agents discovered SCP-1335 in a fountain being displayed as a genuine Buddhist artifact. At the time of containment, the restaurant had begun an advertising campaign encouraging customers to come and anoint themselves with the blessings of Confucius. The owner of the restaurant, someone Smith, and all employees and customers present at the time were administered Class C amnestics, and a standard disinformation campaign was established. Despite extensive testing, the liquid released by 1335 has not been found to possess any anomalous properties. SCP-1335 contains a strip of paper within its shell. Efforts to remove this object without damaging are ongoing. Addendum 1. On March the something, after some amount of attempts, the strip of paper was successfully removed using a standard toothpick. Upon examination, it was discovered it contained the following message. Hey neighbor, please fix your leak. The dripping is driving me crazy. Addendum 2. On November the something, the barking of a Canis familiaris began to be heard from 1335. The bark continued for the next 2 hours. The following day, a new slip of paper was discovered to have manifested within. It was retrieved and found to say the following. Hey, would you mind quieting your dog and fix that leak while you're at it? Containment procedures have been modified to account for these additional effects. Addendum the 3rd. Okay, it's not the month, it's the day. On the 17th of some point, the liquid increased to 400 milliliters an hour. On the 19th, probably that same month, the following note was retrieved. Dude, stop ignoring me. I know you can see these. On the Addendum 4th and the 23rd or something, disco music began emanating from 1335 at 100 decibels and continued for 4 hours. Immediately after the event, researchers retrieved the following note. That's it! I'm calling the fucking landlord! Addendum 5. As of the 29th or something, it has ceased anomalous activity reclassification to neutralized pending. Sounds like the fortune cookie was Squidward, if I'm being honest. Echo, turn on the lamp! Thank you. Okay, next up is 5,000 Dots. I probably could have muted the microphone for that, but it only took like 1 second to do it. It would have taken longer to mute the microphone. SCP-1336, well, it's safe, and it will be stored in a secure vault in Section 19. It is to be maintained in a document frame that will prevent accidental damage to the object. The front of SCP-1336 will be under constant observation by Level 3 personnel, and video images will be recorded at all times. Relevant screenshots will be sent to the Director of Operations for Level 3 personnel. Description: SCP-1336 is a single sheet of 8.5 by 11, 110-pound cardstock. Why is it 110 pounds? Why is it 110 pounds? If it's a single sheet. What was this one called? 5,000 Dots. It has sustained very slight burn damage to one corner. It was recovered from the wreckage of a laboratory owned by the Something Chemical Corporation somewhere. Nothing is known about the origins of the object beyond this. It came to the attention of the Foundation by way of an informant from the company itself. No opportunity to recover the paper came until several months after the Foundation learned of the existence of 1336, when an explosion severely damaged the lab, killing 15 employees, including the informant. Foundation operatives were able to enter the lab and recover the object at that time. Appearing on the paper are roughly 5,000 dots, each one a circle about 0.3 millimeters in diameter. The dots appear to be printed in various colors. Under non-magnified observation, the dots resemble those printed by a standard color laser printer. However, microscopic examination reveals that the paper fibers themselves appear to be colored. There are no pigment particles apparent. The attention of the Foundation was originally drawn by the fact that the dots slowly move around the page. While each individual dot moves seemingly at random, they will all form recognizable patterns from time to time. Exactly how the dots move is still unknown. Under magnification, it appears that the color oozes along the paper fibers, but no observation so far had revealed how the color flows. The dots have been observed to overlap each other and will temporarily blend colors. The dots have never been observed to stop moving. Their speed is a constant 1 millimeter per second, though they seem to randomly change directions and rarely stay moving in any one direction for more than a few seconds. Almost without exception, the patterns created appear as structural formulas for various organic compounds. Not sure why I whistled when I said structural. To date, the Foundation had recorded 11,467 structural formulas. Of these, 453 did not appear in any current chemical registry. The Foundation has managed to synthesize 41 of the unknown molecules. I feel like you shouldn't. 10 of these compounds have proven commercially viable and have been released through various Foundation front companies. The remaining 31 chemicals are still undergoing analysis and testing. Of the 412 compounds that have yet to be synthesized, 53 appear to be physically impossible according to currently accepted theories of chemical bonding. Another 48 contain symbols that are not known to represent chemical elements or functional groups. Addendum A. SCP-1336 is known to have produced images unrelated to structural formulas on 6 separate occasions. 1. An image of Redacted, later identified as SCP-Redacted. 2. A map of the continental United States with the location of each capital city indicated, as well as 4 additional locations. Investigation in the areas indicated by the dots revealed Redacted. The phrase shared pain is lessened, the date redacted, and the phrase redacted. A portrait of a middle-aged Asian male later identified as Field Agent Redacted, the agent who recovered 1336 following the lab explosion. And an image of a video camera, say Addendum B5. Alright then. Addendum B. Multiple attempts have been made to communicate with SCP-1336. To date, none have been successful. However, one test did seem to show that it was aware of its environment. Test 1. Attempt to verbally communicate. Can you hear me? Repeated at intervals for 1 hour. No response. Attempted to verbally communicate. Draw a circle. Repeated in multiple languages at intervals for 2 hours. No response. Attempted to visually communicate. The command draw a circle printed on paper in multiple languages and placed in a frame facing 1336 for 24 hours. No response. Attempted to visually communicate. A copy of Da Vinci's La Gioconda, the Mona Lisa. Is that Gla or Gio? I think it's Gioconda. The Mona Lisa, placed in front of 1336 for 24 hours, no response. B. Attempt to communicate both visually and verbally. After the production of Agent Redacted's portrait, a photo of Agent Redacted was presented to 1336, and the question, who else was on the recovery team, was repeated for 1 hour. The dots formed an image of the video camera that faces 1336. Test B6. A high-resolution LCD display was placed on the wall facing 1336, which showed a greatly magnified version of the object. The dots were seen to speed up by 50%. This effect lasted for approximately 2 hours before the dots slowly returned to normal speed. There was no further obvious response since then, and the display was removed after 1 month. So, it's a 110-pound sheet of paper with 5,000 dots on it that seems to have some level of sentience, but isn't bothering anybody, and so it's safe. The Hitchhiker might not be safe. I want to say Euclid. It was safe, and then it was decommissioned, and then it was Euclid. Well, I called it, sort of. Special containment procedures. It used to say the section of road designated 1337 Alpha is to... Oh yeah, we've reached the LEET one. Cool. Is to be monitored at all times. During active time periods, a sweep is to be performed every hour by a lone security agent and a non-Foundation standard car. At all other times, remote monitoring is allowed. When contact is made with 1337, I'm gonna just call it LEET, Said agent is to stop his vehicle and offer it a ride. Agent is to adhere exclusively to the provided script and not attempt to engage with SCP-Leet in any further conversation. After arrival at Site Leet Beta, agent is to wait in the car 15 minutes after the departure of Leet, and then to retrieve item Leet Gamma and return it to the E-Class agents at Site Leet Delta. After the results of Incident Leet L something, Dr. Someone is to be the sole operative assigned to active phase monitoring duty. Given that 3 years have passed since any occurrence of Leet, the SCP is now considered decommissioned. Now it says, after the events of Incident Leet L2, SCP Leet has been reinstated and upgraded to Euclid class. During the 19th of each month, the active phase of Leet, the system of roads known collectively as Leet Alpha, are to be constantly patrolled for signs of Leet. In the event said SCP is spotted, a D-Class disposable dude is to be inserted into a remotely controlled vehicle and guided to the spot of its appearance. Upon acquiring Leet, the vehicle is to be driven to Site Leet Delta, and the remains of the disposable dude disposed of. If Leet is not spotted, this anomaly must be immediately reported. It used to say SCP-Leet is a Level 2 humanoid apparition, location-bound, non-violent, and corporeal. Now it says a Level 5 humanoid apparition, free-roaming, corporeal, actively aggressive. It appears to be the wraith of one Mary Talish, who was abducted, ritually tortured, and executed on May the 19th in 1952 in Muncie, Indiana. I will no longer be calling it Leet. Starting 19 months after her death, SCP-1337 began to appear on the 19th of every month walking down Mayflower Road, 1337 Alpha, attempting to flag down any passing vehicle. It would tell anyone who picked it up that it had gotten lost and was in need of a ride back to its home, 1337 Delta. SCP-1337 will give directions in such a way as to ensure passing the graveyard where Mary Talish was buried, Beta, and then encourage the driver to stop at the cemetery. Once out of the vehicle, 1337 would vanish, leaving the driver to find her sweater, Gamma. Anyone touching Gamma would then feel an urge to return the item to Site Delta and Mary Talish's parents. Despite many attempts to secure Gamma, it would invariably vanish from containment at or around sunset on the 19th. It used to say SCP-1337 manifests as a female, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, 150 centimeters, 5 feet tall, approximately 130 pounds. It is dressed conservatively, a mid-calf length red skirt, long-sleeve button-up shirt, and red sweater, Gamma. It appears well-groomed in both body and clothing. See Incident 1337-L2 for current physical description. When the Foundation moved in, it was found most beneficial to recruit the Elder Talishes as E-Class agents of the Foundation, in order to prevent them from speaking out. The agents were told the Foundation was working on a way to set their daughter to rest. Special agents were employed to pick up and transport 1337, as no means of permanently repositioning it were found. Dr. L was placed in command of the Foundation resources governing 1337. Incident L. On June the 18th, 1973, Dr. L, acting without permission, had the E-Class agents executed and Site 1337 Delta destroyed. His reasoning was that if she has no one to return to, she'll stop coming back. Dr. L was demoted to junior staff for his actions, but not reassigned, under the belief that if SCP-1337 were to form a new attachment, it would most likely be to him. An examination of Dr. L's journals revealed that he believed decommissioning 1337 would lead to a promotion and recognition of his brilliance. On June the 19th, 1976, SCP-1337 was considered decommissioned. Incident L2. On June 19th, 1983, Dr. L returned to Site 1337 Alpha to ensure there was no remnants of 1337. His last transmission consisted only of the words, "Wait, who the hell are you?" When security arrived on the scene, Dr. L was found deceased, his body mutilated in the same manner as Mary Talish's had been when she was found. Since that time, on the 19th of every month, 1337 has returned with a different method of operations. Recordings have shown that its physical appearance has changed. SCP-1337 still manifests with the same basic physical appearance, but now shows the wounds of its death. The eyes appear to have been gouged from their sockets, and its clothing is ripped and stained mid-chest to reveal the empty cavity where its heart was removed. SCP-1337's range of movement has extended to all of the back roads of Muncie. If a vehicle stops for 1337, it vanishes from view to reappear on another road. Should a vehicle pass 1337 by, it will then appear inside the vehicle, where it will reenact the methods of its murder upon the driver of the vehicle. 1337 will only appear for vehicles containing one person. This escalation matches those events observed following the containment attempts of SCP-973. See internal research paper, Apparition Escalation, Preliminary Research into Human-Triggered Escalation of Apparition Hostility by Tamlin et al. For more details regarding this and other similar phenomenon, which SCP-1401 and SCP-2539. We'll get to 1401 eventually. We're in the 1330s as it is. So yeah, I would say that in the future, I know they won't listen to me because even if the Foundation was real, they're not going to listen to common sense. Of course not. But I would say that the next time you have an SCP that is evidently the ghost of someone who was violently murdered, probably don't kill their remaining family to see what happens. Because I feel like if ever there was a way to put a ghost to rest, it is absolutely not that. Anyway, Child of the Trees, which is probably not George of the Jungle, especially since it's Euclid. Not a very long entry, though. SCP-1338, Special Containment Procedures. A perimeter is to be established around the location 1338 most frequently appears at, roughly 35, 40, 50 north, 82 degrees, 1552 west. I don't know the proper way to read coordinates out loud, but it's coordinates. Foundation personnel assigned to the containment of SCP-1338 are to maintain the guides of a team of ecologists implementing a forest restoration process. Any unauthorized persons attempting to enter the perimeter are to be turned away under the pretense of keeping the restoration undisturbed. Video surveillance is to be used to monitor the perimeter. Foundation personnel are to meet with 1338 once every 29 days to perform a routine assessment of its temperament and behavior. Okay. Due to 1338 having no understanding of standardized timekeeping systems, it was agreed that each meeting would occur on the day before a full moon. Are they a werewolf? Or is that just, like, convenient? Any conversations that occur are to be properly logged. As 1338 has demonstrated willingness to cooperate with the Foundation, care should be taken to avoid frightening or aggravating them to maintain said cooperation. SCP-1338 is a male human of indeterminate ethnicity, of stature and appearance similar to that of a child. Though otherwise physically unremarkable, 1338 exhibits heterochromia iridum, possessing one dark brown eye and one green eye. 1338 does not appear to age. They are able to communicate using simple spoken English and has demonstrated a talent for climbing trees. SCP-1338 is able to use plant matter to create substances with certain healing properties, though said substances only retain their abilities while within the presence of 1338. Analysis of the produced substance is usually strong-smelling mixtures of crushed or shredded leaves, herbs, and/or flower petals, reveals no anomalies. However, 1338 has shown skill in curing various ailments, including headaches, eye irritation, and upset stomachs. Shallow cuts, ranging from 1 to 4 centimeters long, treated by 1338 heal completely after an average of 4 minutes. Such as receiving care from 1338 report feeling no pain when the cures are applied. While 1338 favors a forest in the Blue Ridge Mountains of the American Appalachians as a place of residence, numerous sightings of 1338 in the Epping Forest of England have been recorded. Said sightings are no longer recent enough to prompt further investigation. The Foundation initially established contact with 1338 when the story of an injured mountain climber recovering from several broken bones overnight prompted Foundation investigation. A small team of researchers led by Dr. Kiryu was sent to explore the region of the forest sighting. The sighting was rumored to have occurred in. See interview 1-something. Dr. Kiryu Labs Hub. Why does this doctor get their own thing? Okay, interview. On the second day of the investigation, Dr. Kiryu stopped to collect plant samples and lagged behind the group slightly. SCP-1338, apparently having hidden itself behind a nearby tree, appeared and engaged Dr. Kiryu in conversation. The following is a log of the event. Who are you? Hello, I'm a friend. I wanted to say thank you for helping that man. You're welcome. No one ever comes back to say thank you. What are you doing? I'm collecting some of the plants here. Why? Where I live, the plants don't grow as well as they do here. I'm hoping to find a way to help the plants at home grow better. I can help. Like with that man. I helped him heal better, but only here. What do you mean? I can make things with plants. Things that help other things heal or grow better. What sort of things? I can make flower water that helps plants grow, and I know the smells that butterflies like. I know where to leave food for the fairies so they help me learn, and I find the feathers that help you listen to the trees. That's fascinating. Would you be willing to talk some more on another day? Maybe. I'm here all the time. Please be careful with the plants you're taking, okay? I will. Thank you for talking to me. When do you want to talk again? Maybe the day of the next half moon? Certainly. Addendum 1. SCP-1338 has, on occasion, mentioned two other existing family members, see interview log. The identities of the alleged parents of 1338 are currently unknown. Foundation attempts to locate said parents have proven unsuccessful. And here's another interview. Could you tell me more about your family? My mother and father once lived together, but my father and some of his family were taken away by some men who wanted to sail across an ocean. Mother and I were left behind. Do you know what happened to him? He helped them cross the water, but they wanted to explore more, and when they got him to help them cross the land, they didn't make it very far. My father decided he wasn't going to help them anymore. He ended up in the mountains, and he found others to guard him. That was around the first time I visited him. Did your mother take you to see him? No, some of his friends showed me the way. They taught me how to cross bigger distances. My father was very weak, and my mother couldn't leave where she was, so I went to see him. Would your father mind talking to me sometime? I don't think he would want to. The only reason I'm here is because my mother wanted to tell my father something, and I was the one who passed the message. She said that he was so steadfast while she was fickle and changed with the seasons. But he loved her for that anyway, and that was what made her love him. I see. Do you miss him? I'm trying to heal him. I talk to his friends a lot, though, so it's not too bad. Addendum 2. Subjects treated by SCP-1338 for cuts and abrasions were observed to have extra layers of large rectangular-shaped skin cells growing over the sites of the original wounds. The layers are shed and replaced periodically without harm. The means by which this occurs is currently unknown. Addendum 3. On blankety-blank blank, an attempt was made to transfer SCP-1338 to Site blank. 1338 was sedated and transported via helicopter, but their health began to deteriorate rapidly to the point where transfer was no longer viable. SCP-1338 was returned to the meeting place. Attempts were made to follow 1338 once it awakened, but Foundation personnel were unable to locate 1338 after it climbed into the tree branches overhead. So it doesn't sound like they were trying to hurt him? It just sounds like they wanted to bring him somewhere else to look at him more instead of just in the trees. But as soon as they found out that it was hurting him, they were like, okay, never mind, put him back. So at least they didn't keep trying once they saw that it was hurting him. They were like, alright, you know what? This isn't worth it. We don't want to kill him. He's a good person. Or whatever he is. Okay, and that brings us to Justified Badge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, Justified Badge. Yeah, well, the Justified Badge seems to be safe, but it also has interview logs, so... SCP-1339 is to be kept in a safe at Site-56 and may only be accessed with permission from Dr. Robert Williams. Testing has been suspended until further notice. That doesn't sound safe. SCP-1339 is a police badge with no markings of a police department or rank. No badge similar to 1339 has been found as of March the 1st, 2000-something. The badge's abnormal qualities are only apparent when worn. When SCP-1339 is fastened to the clothing of a human being, other species may be affected by it, see test log, henceforth referred to as the subject, they will be convinced that any actions they observe or commit are entirely justified and valid, see Addendum 1. When asked about events, the subject will always rationalize and defend the action. Assessment of motor skills, problem solving, and cognitive abilities have all proven that 1339 does not impair mental facilities. Foundation psychologists and speech pathologists have noticed that the speaking patterns of 1339 subjects resemble those of psycho and sociopaths. Once SCP-1339 is removed from the subject, he or she will immediately feel large amounts of guilt and depression, even if they committed no morally or ethically wrong actions while wearing it. Attempts at therapy have worked along the same lines as others with depression and guilt, with therapists noting that patients are much more resistant to both antidepressants and traditional psychiatry. Amnestics have proven useful in removing memories of the digressions, though feelings of guilt are still reported by subjects. In a majority of cases where treatment is not received, the subject will commit suicide. On several occasions, the subject has confessed to unknown crimes in suicide notes. Despite the possibility of reopening cold cases or finding missing persons, it has been decided that testing is to be suspended until further notice. Addendum 1. Subjects have been exposed to, and in some cases performed, murder, mass murder, torture, forced starvation, and non-medical amputation without incident, and upon questioning, would claim all of the above actions perfectly reasonable and right. You know what? I don't think I should read the interview or the testing logs for this one. I'm not going to read the interview or the testing logs for this one because I it's at the point where I don't want to read them and can't even say why. That's how bad it is. So, that's going to do it for this episode, and the next one we'll be checking out the Fraternal Order of Cave Mantas, Jungle in a Jar, to the makers of music, Pile Up, and Eye-Catching Goggles, which, just from the name of that last one, I feel like, on the one hand, it sounds like the goggles make your eyes come out, but if that's what they do, at least they catch them. So, if you like this video, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. Would be greatly appreciated if you did. If you want to click the bell, you can do that as well so that you're notified of future uploads. And I will see y'all in the next one. Later.